Hi, Michael King here today from the Cosmosis Mentoring Centre, and I want to share a little bit more about mediumship today. At the Cosmosis Mentoring Centre we offer many courses in mediumship. We don't teach any psychic work at all, but we do teach clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience in the very beginning stages, and then also taking that through the mechanisms of inspiration, intuition and illumination at the high end into full-blown seership, which is pretty rare these days. Now, if I go back 20 years, back to the early 90s, I had been working in engineering, in mechanical engineering for 15 years. I was at the top of my game. I was considered to be an expert in what I did. I was set for life. I had a career for life, and at the time I just felt absolutely miserable, because although I had all of this material security and as I say I was at the top of my game, the reality was that I just felt that there was nothing more for me to learn from what I was doing. And I just felt really, really strongly that I had to move on, that I had to make an empty-handed leap into the void and move on. And I did that. I took a voluntary redundancy, and I paid off all my debts, and I had a little bit of money in the bank, but I had absolutely no idea really what I was going to do. Well, I did know that I wanted to work in the field of personal spiritual growth. I'd been, well, from some years before, probably I'd been pretty obsessed actually with personal spiritual growth, because as I say in one of my other videos, after 10 years of abusing alcohol and drugs, I then gave that away, and then just transferred that addiction to become a spiritual addiction, and I talk about that extensively on other videos. So I was pretty obsessed about it, but I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I ended up through a series of weird synchronicities, as the universe so often orchestrates, I was led to a fellow who at that stage had been training mediums for 30 years, and I then did a trainee apprenticeship in mediumship with this fellow for several years. I studied with him, I travelled with him as he was travelling all over the place doing his workshops and his teaching work, and it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. And that training was in trance mediumship. I felt at the end of that I really wanted to take mediumship much further, so I sought out and then did training. As I was doing my own work, I also studied psychology and counselling, and also I'd done some courses in natural therapies, and I was qualified massage therapist by this stage as well, which I'd added to my process systems design engineering qualifications as an engineer. And so I went on, and I then continued to study. I studied for several months with an amazing woman in Australia that I believe is probably one of the best channels in the world for the universal consciousness. I remember when I first started to channel the universal consciousness, when the energy, I started to attune to the energy, it was like my body was just so overwhelmed that I could barely move. I could barely, barely articulate what I was sharing. A lot sort of changed in the last 20 years. And I also went on and worked with many very, very talented mediums of very different flavours in the United States. What I found though, that virtually everyone that I know who is working as a medium, doesn't matter if they're working at the lower levels as a psychic or as a clairaudient or a clairvoyant, or even in the beginning levels of seership when they really are sort of doing trance channeling or whatever, these people just don't have the psychological clarity to allow the message to come through in a space of clear intention. The problem is that you're relaying whatever you're picking up through the humanness, through the human vehicle. And whatever unresolved issues and emotional stuff that you have is going to contaminate that. Your likes, your dislikes, your judgments, it all contaminates and interferes with the clarity and the purity of the transmission. And this is the problem that just about everyone that I know has, that is doing this work. As long as they don't get triggered when they're channeling, they're not too bad. But a lot of people don't have the contextual framework also to really bring the really out there stuff forth in a way which is in really simple terms. So people don't sort of often aren't able to really understand what the hell the person's talking about as they're relaying the message. You know, some clairvoyants, they see symbols and stuff, and they say, "Oh, I'm seeing a cross and it's got light around it," or "I'm seeing a black horse and it's got a," and that's completely useless to the person as far as giving them any sort of guidance or understanding about how they can advance on the spiritual path. So what our courses do is they bring you into an understanding of how you are able to present the information within a context which helps the person to be able to grow spiritually. As part of our seership training, we also offer training as a mentor and coach. That's an important part of the training. So you actually end up with a government recognised qualification, in fact the only one in Australia, because we've written the qualification and had it accredited with the government in mentoring and coaching. So as well as doing the mediumship training, you'll also come out with a qualification as a fully government accredited coach and mentor, which is very important because that really helps you to be able to understand how you relay the understanding, the information in a way which is really constructive and makes a lot of sense on the ground for the person. It also allows you to have a career working as a mentor and coach that is partnering with spirit to assist people to grow spiritually and to become as integrated as human beings as they possibly can. So this is a wonderful career pathway. What I want to show you today is when I was doing my transmediumship training in the early 90s, which is 20 years ago now, 30 years old, I did some videoing, really, to show groups, to use as very early training aids with people that I was actually training for mediumship at the time. It gives you an understanding of where I was then, how far I've come, how the message really hasn't changed, I guess, too. It also shows you how long that I've been doing this work now, well over 20 years now. And so I'd like to share this video with you. It was recorded on VHS in the early 90s. Imagine the tape's pretty ordinary now. But I hope you at least get a giggle out of it. No, seriously, I hope you get some understanding out of it, which really helps you to get a sense of what you can do with your life and what the potential is as far as this career pathway is concerned. Enjoy. This is me 20 odd years ago, my very early 30s, when I was just sort of completing my training as a trance medium. Keep on loving.
Let there be light. Let there be love. And let there be peace. Imagine yourself now far beyond the ring-past knot of consciousness which surrounds this planet and identifies its individuality. See yourself hovering above the earth, looking down upon her, yet knowing that you are one of the many organisms which constitute her very physical existence. Feel yourself upon the earth, an inhabitant of the earth. Yet in your light body, you exist far out in space in realms hitherto undreamt of. The feeling which overwhelms you is exquisite in its duality. Hovering now in that body of light, open your eyes, your spiritual eye, and project the pure white light of the essence that is your spirit through those eyes, to let that light shine upon the earth, to dispel the ignorance in all the kingdoms of nature, the ignorance which causes all suffering upon the planet. Let there be light. Upon completion of this attunement to our beloved planet, add to that light emanating from your spiritual mind through your spiritual eyes. Add to that the unconditional love of the cosmos. Invoke on your behalf the ability to become the light bearer, the channel through which cosmic healing forces may flow to heal yourself and to heal all those that you love. And this energy, as it flows through your body, makes it impossible for you to deny your very truth. And your truth becomes illuminated with the light of Spirit. And in that loving communion, may you stand as a soul transfigured by the light. So that you may fulfill your latent spiritual potentials. Project that light and that love. Feel it opening the channels within you. Opening within you realms of your own being and understanding, which you have chosen until now to deny. Embrace your spirit reality. Take your place as the channel, the healing channel through which healing, loving, nurturing forces may be channeled into the very core of this planetary existence. Hello. Here we are, slammed back into a world of apparent reality. Now, how many times has that happened to you? Presumably you're watching this video because you are a seeker of truth, a seeker of that which is beyond what is considered to be normal, a valid scientific understanding. Something within you, something called divine discontent, is leading you upon a search, a journey of self-discovery, of wonderment. Indeed, the entire planet that we live on is wondrous. And as your eyes are beginning to open up to the wonder of this wonderful planet, with its sensations, such as the wind in your hair, with its love, with its infinite variety of expressions. Here we are trying to lead a spiritual life. Now, what does it mean to lead a spiritual life? Spiritual means literally to love. So to be spiritual, one must expand one's love nature, one's ability to love and process forms of love of a much higher variety than the vast majority of those here upon this planet. Now this is a process of attunement, of realigning, retuning in your channels, the channels through which you process the energy, which causes manifestations or opportunities, experiences in your lives. If you're dissatisfied with your lives, that constant static, you can hear that constant static. Can you hear that constant static? It's a constant sort of a background noise. It's the pull of matter. Without it being there, there is a stillness. The attunement will bring with it a balance between the material and the spiritual. To be spiritual does not mean to go and live in a cave and meditate for 40 years, although that is a valid experience and may bring with it some illumination. It's a little hard to share that illumination with others, of course. If you've lived in a cave for 40 years, your social skills probably have suffered rather severely, and perhaps we might in this day and age call that form of spirituality art for art's sake. What I would share with you is that to be spiritual is simply to ground and express as much love as you possibly can in each and every moment, in each and every time, at each and every opportunity. To lead a spiritual life is to align with the God that is within us. We seek to align to the Spirit. We seek to become vessels and channels, and when we invoke our greater reality and ask it to flow through us and guide us, it meets resistance at every turn. Certain thought patterns, emotional expressions, habitually entered into, perhaps over lifetimes, has created great blockages and lines of resistance within our forms. The alignment process allows a release, a sense of freedom from the fetters that bind when one has a prior commitment to the mind and the body, which are one, and the vehicle of expression, certainly, yet a device a loving expression, a loving reflection of that which we are in essence, distorted somewhat by less than adequate programming, indulgence in so-called undesirable emotions, anger, fear, resentment. They drain the life force from you. If you want to grow spiritually, if you want to realize the God within, then you must make a prior commitment to that reality, the realization of that which you truly are. In the instance I opened this presentation with, you saw how a prior commitment to the material world alone leads to a loving communion with my greater reality being disturbed, intruded upon by a prior commitment. That commitment must be relinquished. That commitment which gives birth to faith, loving acceptance of that which transpires, because the love, the light which flows through you helps you to understand that all experiences as they manifest are indeed for your learning, for the evolution of indeed the entire universe. For you and the universe are one. You are created in the image of God. What does that mean? What it means is that the pattern upon which human existence was modelled is a simply smaller version or replica of the same pattern which the entire universe uses to manifest itself. Within us is a freedom. And that freedom is a prior commitment to one's growth, one's unfoldment, and as such the growth and unfoldment of all those one contacts. Yet beyond that, a commitment to the unfoldment of consciousness, the expansion of consciousness and conscious awareness and understanding, indeed within all of reality. There are many more dimensions beyond the limited 3 dimensions which we call reality. Indeed, in ancient times, all human beings knew of their spiritual heritage, their spiritual reality, and as such lived and acted out of love, because love is the prime incoming energy which conditions our entire planetary system and beyond. Love is the energy which provides the motive power for evolution upon this planet and in many other experiences and existences. So why do we attune our channels to anything other than love? Very interesting question. You don't need me to describe to you what it is like to tune in to fear and to be constantly buffeted by fears, by phobias, by paranoia, by feelings of loss of self-identity, by the torture of finding self-identity. By living within the mind, we create a prison for ourselves, for we are existing always, no matter what you choose to believe, in many dimensions, varied expressions in other existences, and to your spiritual reality. To you at soul level, you are a timeless, ageless, immortal being. You choose not to accept this. We all have our techniques, our mechanisms of not showing who we truly are because we fear rejection, we fear ridicule, we fear many things. Yet the hell which you live when you embrace fear and live it and act it out, a hell of your own creation, a destiny of your own making, for if you indulge in the practices and the rituals and the acting out of fear patterns long enough for enough lifetimes, that will become your destiny. You will have chosen to align with an inferior conditioning energy. You may seek this choice. You may seek to suffer, to live a life of torture, one where your consciousness is not one with the God that is within. If that is your choice, and that is certainly a valid choice within the grand scheme of choices within this universe. I make no judgments concerning any path that any of you wish to take. What I do simply wish to point out is that there are certain disciplines and certain belief systems which, if adopted, will create a climate wherein the light can find safe host. I hope that many of you experiment, integrate what I'm about to share with you in the spirit of questioning to perceive truth. So many of you will be skeptics, defined by the limits of your own mental perceptions. You find this somehow to be cool, to be something to be sought after. This must be released. This is contracting your consciousness. It's creating a shell. It's entombing you. You must allow yourself to entertain as a reality, a sensed reality within you that wells up from within the heart, that you are a timeless, ageless being. Should you choose not to do this, then you will have a destiny of slow, plodding experiences of taking 5 steps forward and 3 steps backwards. That is your choice. I would hope many of you, perhaps all of you, will embrace love and choose then to experience bliss, to experience joy as a state of being. Why would you not seek to experience joy, to experience peace, to experience means of perception far beyond that which you currently utilise? You would not choose this for yourselves because you feel that you are unworthy. And I'm telling all of you that from my perception, this is nonsense. You are all worthy. You are all children of God. We are all created equal with the same potential. We shoot ourselves in the foot. God doesn't do it to us. We do it to ourselves. Accept this. The next time a traumatic situation arises in one's life, simply, Father, Mother, God, thy will, not mine, be done. I accept that I have co-created this circumstance for myself, for my learning, and for your learning. Please show me how to deal with this. Allow the channels to open. Allow the inspiration to flow. Surely this is the best source of guidance from within. How does one realise then that there is this God within? And not to understand it, not to conceptualise it, but to make it real within your heart. You follow certain disciplines. The sadhana is still applicable now, as it has been since ancient times. Do the sadhana. Set aside half an hour each day, the same time every day. Tune into the rhythm of the universe. Resonate with the rhythm of the universe. And each day, for 1.5 hour period, spend a loving communion, seated within the solidarity of a prior commitment to spending 30 minutes each day apart from the day-to-day mundane considerations of the form life, sit in loving communion with oneself and one's higher reality. Lots of reasons why you're already thinking, you can't do this. I can't discipline myself to do this because of my responsibilities. Well, a fantastic way to avoid responsibility to yourself, to the planet, and to great cosmic beings of which we are a part, the responsibility to grow and to make the most of one's potential. The easiest way to avoid that spiritual responsibility is to say, I've got responsibilities. No, I can't do that. The wife, the husband, the kids, the mortgage. I tell you, all those things will benefit from you spending half an hour each day. Explain to the children that mum, that dad, each day has half an hour of just very private my time. Encourage the children to spend the same time with themselves, exploring their own perceptions, learning, reading, whatever. Turn it into a gathering, perhaps in your home. Quiet time for individuals. And then afterwards to come together as a family. Surely your own truth within your heart tells you that this is a way to act out the spirit of unity, of that fundamental understanding that we are all one, and that spirit of community which comes from that. Make this as a central focus within your household. This is what it is to live and act out the spiritual life, to ground and express love. Self-love. Half an hour each day. And in that half an hour each day, you will grow. Each day you will grow more into your reality. And surely that is the best way that you can serve the love which you feel for those people who are existing in your form life. So no intellectualizing will suffice. In an actual fact, you are asking yourself to commit to spiritual growth. Now, the spiritual levels, dimensions, exist at a much higher frequency than the body or the mind is capable of functioning in. So, to look to the body, to the mind, for the justification, for the needed support and encouragement to transcend itself. Interesting notion. I'm not sure that entirely in the entirety of human expression has that ever happened. Certainly not as expressed by any of the teachings of the sages or the teachers. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. The sacred scriptures are a wonderful way to perceive wisdom and to perceive a reality beyond which the average person entertains. They have mystical qualities about them. The Bible, the Quran, indeed any of the sacred writings. They unfold mysteries if they are approached in purity of motive, a loving heart, a genuine desire to evolve to a more perfected expression of oneself and to serve. What is it to serve? To serve is to extend that commitment to allowing the love, the will of the universal being to flow through you. This aligns with your own will, your personal will, and in synthesis, in combination, then transform your life. For you are truly doing the Father's work. The will, the male aspect of divinity, you're allowing that to flow through you. This enhances your experience. It doesn't take the fun out of it. So people will tell you to be spiritual, to lead a spiritual life. You have to be somber and have fun with it. This is life, this is living, this is to be a complete human being. To be spiritual is not to become less human, it's to become more human. To express the true human qualities, not the qualities which we share with the animal kingdom. That of an intense competitive struggle for existence. That's part of the previous kingdom. You've already graduated from there. Endeavour to learn to express the higher qualities of human expression. Compassion, altruism, understanding, love. Express these things day to day. When you find yourself thinking not so nice things about people, wishing that things would happen when you know in your heart that this is not for the best of all concerned. When you find yourself doing that, train your mind to project light from the brow chakra and unconditional love from the heart chakra and merge those energies and project it at the individuals involved. Project it at the situation. Stop creating karma for yourselves. Stop shooting yourselves in the foot all the time. Take control. You are in, of, a mind and a body. Of course that's true, but you are much more than that. So dedicate 30 minutes each day to your daily meditation. Avail yourself of the opportunity to participate in groups. Avoid the dabblers in psychic phenomena, because phenomena is of the material world and you have a prior commitment to the realization of God consciousness, the God within you. So you're not interested in phenomena, nor indeed are you interested in setting a goal of achieving the unfoldment of wondrous powers. For these powers, the gifts of the Spirit will manifest if you live a life of purity. You purify your heart, purify the tabernacle, the vessel, the body-mind. Do these things. And the light of illumination simply flows through you. Meditate with each and every action, with each and every thought, with each and every feeling and emotion. And you love to the full. You become fearless. Not foolhardy, but fearless. Ponder upon the difference. In love, in light, in peace, you consciously co-create with your fellows, because in the realization that you yourself are an incarnate aspect of God, so are all others. So we co-create. The spirit of let us, rather than I will, becomes manifest upon the earth. This is what it is to realize God. This is what it is to act out God. This is what it is to withdraw your commitment from your processes of limiting your consciousness. You're simply allowing yourself to fly. It's time to jump out of the nest and learn to fly. It's simply the next obvious step. And your mind, of course, realizes this, doesn't it? It does. So where is the need? Where is the need for all the rationalizing? The understanding comes after the faith. Live with this realization. And live your truth as I live my truth. And by doing so, we give permission to others, perhaps without such spiritual resolve, as we do, you give them permission. You indeed encourage them, you support them, you nurture them by your example into naturally leading a spiritual life. A life where they can grow, where they can blossom, where they can learn, they can unfold, free from this competitive, intense struggle for existence. And miraculously, all is different. All of a sudden, the light is on. I'm in the world, yet not of it. This is the result of the sadhana, of the discipline. And the service. To be freed from the illusion of the mayhem of the form world, yet to still be within that world, acting out in that world, learning, sharing, loving, growing. And listen. The voice of the Spirit has become louder. The static. The difficulty in being able to focus upon the spiritual truth, which is within us all, has vanished miraculously. The voice of the Spirit now thunders. It has become a part of you. It has imprinted itself upon your cell structure, imprinted itself upon every aspect of your being. And once again, you begin to glimpse who you really are. And the unfoldment begins. Let there be light in your lives. Let there be peace in your lives. Live the totality of the I Am invocation as is shared with you, as has been used by, in one form or another, all those who have gone before you, all those who have trodden the path towards God realization. You are in good company. Live it. Breathe it. I am. I am all I am. One with the universal mind. One with the source of all life. And one with all life forms. And they are one with me. I am love. I am light. I am peace. I am. In that which I am, I invoke the light of the teachers of the higher mental and spiritual planes and beyond, and refuse all communications which originate upon the astral plane. I am. I am projecting through my channels into the cosmos an invocation of recognition. I know that which I am, and I am ready to serve. How may I serve? Please unfold the memory the light, the understanding, and the abilities which are necessary for me to serve to my fullest potential. Father, Mother, God, make me the instrument of thy peace. Perhaps now take the time to listen to that guidance. That guidance has gotten you here, where you are, wherever that is. And now you realise a greater call. The call to master and ultimately transcend all human limitation in an effort to become fully operational, all senses fully active, fully functioning, truly whole human being. Be human. Be real. Live your truth. The truth of another, or the distorted perception of that truth. Your own truth. Your own commitment to your growth ensures that growth and creates a new destiny which involves the unfoldment of the potential which is that light. Embrace your humanity. Embrace your humanness. Live your humanness. Learn from your experiences. Ponder upon, contemplate your life experiences. Live in a meditation. Live in the understanding that within the great is of the cosmos, you are an essential, integral part with a certain role to play and a certain destiny. Embrace that destiny. Do not fear it. For that destiny brings bliss, renewed harmony, understanding, wisdom, the gifts of the Spirit, the gift of healing. For one's love becomes so purified that it activates perfection within others. By choosing to embrace who we really are, we truly begin to live. That is what it is to live a spiritual life. And it's fun. Tremendous fun. You each have a light body. And each of you, in measure, in line with your karma and your particular destiny, have the opportunity in this lifetime to begin to work consciously, to relate consciously, to integrate consciously with that light body and be of it. For it to be you. For it to alter the way you perceive things, to indeed step up a level in vibration. Indeed, none of you will realise your potential unless you are totally committed to change, constant new integration, constant realisation and understanding, constant response to the revelation of the light as it flows through you. If you would rather choose stagnation, continue with your commitment, your preoccupation with worldly affairs, and that will lead you along a certain path. This path, I suggest, is one of being freed from ambition, indeed transmuting it into aspiration, a purified desire to cooperate
with all of the other creators of this reality. The path brings humility, that great sense of proportion, understanding your uniqueness and your universalness, and how they are truly one. Invite a greater reality to manifest in your everyday affairs, and the mundane ceases to exist. We have friends from other dimensions popping in all around us all the time. We choose not to perceive them. We choose to fear them. They come in love, in an unconditional acknowledgement of unity, to assist us to take the next quantum leap in our consciousness and our evolution as human beings. They have been with us since the ancient days. It is this that you seek. It is this that you yearn for. So make the commitment. I choose to grow. I choose to not contract myself, my consciousness. I simply choose to be. We are indeed human beings, not human doings. Focus less on the doing and more on the being. Being in the moment, that's where it's all happening. Be here now. Focus not on the past. If you would study, if you would come to understand the great cosmic laws which govern evolution upon this planet, you would know that to pursue the past, to lament, to drown in a sea of guilt and misconception, you would see that this is a foolhardy pastime, and as such simply choose to not experience these things. This is within your ability to simply choose, to re-choose. I choose not to experience limitation. I choose to be who I am fully in the moment and express my love, because as a human being, I am love personified. I love myself. I totally accept myself. I love myself. I love myself. Everything about myself. My commonness, my uniqueness, my brilliance. The things about me which yet are not perfected, and the things about myself which are perfected. It all just is. It simply is. You now have the opportunity to choose a new path. A path which brings with it different experiences, spiritual experiences, mystical experiences. Do you choose this? Or you may choose the expression of a purely form life, living for the body and its activities. This is also a valid choice, with a completely different destiny. This is to be treated with some seriousness. This is not to be played with. The commitment to realizing that which you are is not to be taken lightly. It's not something which you will change. Once that prior commitment is made, it changes the way the energy flows through your body. You will begin to realize things about yourself and the way the world works. Truly. You'll begin to understand the laws of God and consciously cooperate with those laws to see their fulfillment and their manifestation. This is the human birthright that you must cultivate within yourself. Certain prerequisite characteristics, certain belief systems. Now you can source these holistic belief systems from many sources. There are many very talented mediumistic channels channeling modern how-to manuals for self-development. But this is just part of the spiritual path. It's a mechanism of understanding. It provides mental focus, but the realization comes from within the heart. The intelligence of the heart shall speak when the mind has become open enough to accept that which is truth. Love much. Reflect upon yourself. Live for yourself so that you can do that which you can for others. For in doing so, or in cooperating with others, you cooperate with yourself. Come to understand this great mystery. Meditate. Commune with others of like mind who are similarly searching. And let love restore the balance. Let love restore the balance. The love will restore the balance. Draw the love in, the light in, and draw the violet flame in through your chakras each day and through the crown chakra, the conditioning energy, the energy of evolution in this coming age. Embrace the new age energy. Then the need for conflict to establish balance is negated. Balance will simply occur as part of the natural order. So embrace a coming age where men and women will stand face to face as equals and walk hand in hand, making an acting out of essential unity, an end to prejudice. If this is what you want, embrace this energy. And embrace the violet flame each and every day and draw it through each and every chakra. The crown high above the head, the brow chakra, throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, sacral chakra, and the base chakra. And upon completing this, when you feel you are one with that violet flame, that it has flowed through every aspect of your being, physical, emotional, mental, your spiritual bodies, feel that integration. Let the love restore the balance. Let the light provide the illumination, and the way is made clear. Ponder upon the significance of the violet flame. Come to understand the way that love works in your life. Come to realize things about your behavior, your sabotage programs. All these things are important. Have counselling if you feel it's necessary. Not to be fixed, but to come to a greater understanding of yourself with a professionally trained person, trained in reflection, trained in providing you with a mirror of who you really are. All these things are necessary. And when the channels are clear, the light of the Spirit will simply flow. You will never again live in delusion. You will live in illumination and respond to inspiration from divine sources and be the purified channel for love. This is what it is to realize God. So, that's me working as a channel. That's allowing the beings which act as our guides, to speak through myself, to share their truth with you. This is a spiritual talent, one I'm choosing to work with as part of my truth. Now, who is Michael? I'm a tradesman. I've been clairvoyant, really sensitive all my life. Tended to be a bit of a little fat kid at school. Never really fitted in. Really wanted to because I love people so much. Didn't feel particularly understood, but that was more a reflection of the fact that I didn't understand myself more than anything. I've got an ex-wife and 3 children. Oldest one in high school. I have a wife. I live on the mid-north coast in New South Wales. And I feel I have a fantastic life. And expressing myself spiritually is as much a part as me riding my motorcycle. I love life. I love people. I love expressing myself. I love this opportunity that you afford me to share with you my truth. My truth is an important part of my life, for I know that if I don't live that truth, then I live a lie and I waste a life. And I choose not to do that. I hope you do too. I teach. I teach with my guides as a medium. I work as a healer. I do massage. I do integrative body work of several types. I do auric healing, chakra work, haric alignment, and some of these things may assist you to cleanse those channels to purify your vehicle. But the work really comes from the essence within you, allowing yourself to blossom. Just allow yourself to be who you are. Everyone is a genius. Everyone is a potential wonder, a potential marvel. Delight in that in yourself. Live it, love it, accept it. Don't apologize for it. Live your light. This expands and improves the quality of your experience. It's a wonderful way to live. And you don't have to live in a cave. You just have to live love. It's that simple. That's the message of all the great avatars. And by living it, you can live an extraordinary life in a very ordinary way. And have a lot of fun. And learn a lot. And share loving experiences with other people. All the time. All the time, constantly. Because that's what you're attuned to. This is what it is. To realize God in human form. To truly love. To live courageously that love. From myself, that which I call I, into a communion with my guides, and out again. Who could even pick it? They are here. They are with us. They are a part of us, and they love us. Allow them to work through you for your own unfoldment and for the unfoldment and the expansion of consciousness generally. live in love, walk in love. And may love restore that balance.
Putting the microphone on. Switching the microphone on. Putting the microphone on. Check 1, 1, 2. Check 1, 2.